Good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm just going to check briefly that I am live. See if I can find myself. Ah, there, I see myself. Okay, hopefully my volume is off. It is. All right, putting the comments. Okay, today I want to take you through something that's really shifted my business and has actually shifted quite a few of my clients' business as well. And that is my 5-step strategy for bringing clients from like starting with a genuine connection and bringing them towards conversion. And that's a whole process. And then at the end, so I'm going to start with a strategy and I'm going to take you through these 5 steps. And then I'm going to move to the energy. Because if you've been in my realm at all, you know that I believe strategy and energy to be the 2 wings of a bird. To take off, to soar, to fly far, you need both. You need the strategy and you need the energy. And I often find that coaches or people are either interested in one or the other, and then they wonder why something's off and something's not quite working or they're not reaching their next level. So we're going to start with the strategy today, and then I'm going to move into the energy. And I'm actually going to give you some key statements that I've used in my business to shift my own energy and shift my own mindset so that I could show up powerfully. I'll give you one right now. So for those of you who know me, you know that going live and videos has never been the easiest, most comfortable thing for me. And for a while, I had to work really hard to get there. And when I started out, the words I used to actually press the button to go live was fuck it. I was like, okay, fuck it. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I would find my courage in that moment. I would press the button and I would start talking. And usually it went fine, but there was always something at the beginning. And now I've realized over, the months and the years that this has shifted where, the statement that I always get into my realm of energetic alignment before I go live. And now my statement is, I was born for this. It's not fuck it anymore. I was born for this. And then there's a sort of certainty, a sort of trust that comes over me. And then I can press the button and go live with you. So I'm going to talk about that more towards the end. First, we're going to start with the strategy. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ilse Comtier. I work with soulful, service-based entrepreneurs, a lot of healers, therapists, holistic practitioners, transformational coaches, essentially people who are here to transform other people's lives with their gifts. And I help them find their own unique aligned way to more clients and more ease in their business. And all of that staying in alignment, staying in a place that feels good. So if that's you, you're in the right place. I'm going to give you a ton of value today. And hope to get you to that next level in your work. By the way, if you are here live or after, say hi. Let me know where you're watching this from. I am in cloudy Colorado today, but at least it's not quite as hot, so I'm enjoying it. And then the last thing I'll tell you right at the beginning, because sometimes people don't wait till the end, is I have a retreat, a free retreat planned in a few weeks, and I'm still finalizing the details. But I'm going to call it the Client Overflow Retreat. And it's going to essentially be a little bit of what I'm talking today, the strategy and the energy to attract clients with ease and to fill your programs, to fill your book. So if that feels interesting to you, it's going to be on a Saturday. It's going to be all day long. It's going to be completely free. Put #retreat in the comments and I will send you the details. All right, let's get started. So this is the 5 steps that you need to essentially bring in clients, attract clients, and grow your work. We all need clients to have a business. And even if you are doing something extremely spiritual, it's still a business. You're still sharing your gifts and you're earning a living. Even if you're a shaman, you're still sharing your gifts. You're transforming people's lives and you're facilitating your own life and your own lifestyle from that. Hey, Sharon. So it's still a business and we need clients to, one, actually have a business, but really create massive impact in the world and create the life that we desire and deserve for ourselves. That's just the way it goes. So, the first step in client attraction is lead generation. And all of you think that your content is doing that for you, and that's partly why people struggle. So, with lead generation, you literally have a simple, easy system that you can continue to use to actually bring new people into, I was going to say your funnel, but that's business speak, into your realm. And your content sometime is going to do that, where somebody's going to see a piece of content you created and is going to raise their hand or is going to reach out to you. But the truth is, that's a very small percentage of where most of my clients come from and where most of my clients' clients come from. And so there's a few pieces of content that will get people to raise their hand, but you need a way to actually reach out to people and connect with people and find people who are not already in your center of your connections. And that's not quite true, actually. I think like we also have a lot of connections that we don't know we have and we're not utilizing. So the lead generation can be part of that. And I'll give you a simple one that I'm using. I'm using birthdays on Facebook. So I'm realizing how many of the friends I have I've never connected with. I don't know much about them. I don't know what they're about. And I'm using their birthdays. So, Facebook will tell you how many people are having a birthday today. So I'll use their birthdays to connect and start a conversation with them and just meet them. And that's a way of bringing more leads into my realm and starting conversation. So the first is you need to have a lead generation process and system. Usually there's three categories or three ways that we have lead generation. We either have a healthy flow. We're in flow. We've got new leads coming through daily or weekly of people we can connect with, people we can start a conversation with, people we can in some way engage with our content. That's flow. And when you have flow of lead generation, then you have a sustainable business. You have a sustainable way to continue to grow and to be consistent in your work. The next is trickle. So that's when you get a trickle of leads. Maybe they're referrals. Maybe it's someone who finds some piece of content you wrote out there and connects with you based on that. But they're few and far between. And it's better than nothing, but it's probably not enough to really grow your business and anything that you can continuously and consistently rely on. Or then your leads are shut off, which means it's kind of like the faucet. There might be a drop that falls in once in a great while, but overall, you really are not getting any clients. You're really not getting a whole lot of new people to connect with, and you don't know how to do that. So that's first is you need to have a lot of soulful entrepreneurs skip this step. They think that their content's going to do that. And that's just not the way it actually works in this day and age. I actually think that a couple years ago, pre-COVID, our content could provide lead generation. It wasn't so busy out there. It was just easier. I think the algorithm was such that people saw your stuff a lot more. And nowadays, especially the kind of content that might bring people to you, it's harder to get a lot of reach. So we can't only rely on that. So that's number one, is you have to have a simple system that you can repeat to bring in new people and to connect with new people. Number two is connect and converse. So, and that's also something that people skip. When you get a new person in, like a new friend, you post something, you find someone who says something in a group, you reach out to them. The next level is you actually need to really connect with them. You need to converse. Once you have that new lead, you need to be able to reach out to them and start a conversation. And you need to be able to do that in a really human, friendly, real, genuine, authentic manner and not in a salesy or pushy manner. Every day I get people in my messenger who like start out with like something friendly, but then automatically they're like, hey, join my group, or hey, what I think this could be helpful for you, or what about this, or, if you'd like help with this, so, reach out to me. And the conversation essentially stops. Had they just said hi to me and I'd love to connect in a more genuine manner, what are you up to? What's working for you? I would have totally written back. The moment I get a real sense that this person does not give a shit about me, has no actual real interest in me, all they want is for me to do the next thing they want me to do, I'm done with them. I've got too many of them, and there's too many people who actually want to have real, genuine conversations to bother with that. I'm just not even going to respond. I'm not going to be rude. I'm just not going to respond. And a lot of time, I'm going to unfriend them unless I feel like they could bring something to me, or I could be of support to them. But the truth is, there's a lot of these people who I actually think could bring something to me. I could be their client, but they've essentially tainted the conversation from the first go. And I'm not interested in doing that. So, the way to do this healthy, wholesome, friendly connect and converse is to actually fall in love with meeting people. Fall in love with sharing a little bit about you, about being curious about them, finding out what you have in common, and just be genuine about how you might support or collaborate with each other. I've met a ton of people who I approach that way, and I approach that way as more like, hey, maybe we could just support each other. We're two people on this entrepreneurial journey who care about transforming the world. I want to connect with people like that. You are one of these people. Let's connect. And at some point, they'll say, you know what, something in your conversation, I feel like I could really use your support. And then we'll move. At that point, we'll move into some kind of sales process if it's appropriate. And sometimes I might just be with them and be like, okay, let me see how I can help you. I feel like I can help you with this really easily without you automatically becoming a client of mine. Right now, my schedule is fully booked. So even if somebody wants to work with me, I just had my last booking last week and I'm done. I'm not even putting in people into my books anymore, into my schedule. So I've actually had a couple conversations here of helping people genuinely with what they needed, whether it's messaging, whether it's their offer, whatever it may be, without turning them into a client, because I really actually don't have the space for that. And my program is not going to be open until the fall. So I've got no place to put them, which could be an issue I need to look at. But meanwhile, I'm building real connections. That person, I will have no issue connecting with them, when my retreat starts or when my program starts, and say, hey, are you interested in this? Because I've built that ease with them already. You have to remember, in this really noisy, really busy online market, that connection is the real currency at this point. Automation, I don't feel like that works quite as much, and the leads you get are not great leads. When you get somebody to actually connect with you and talk with you and build that, you've done more than half of the work. So that's number 2. It's about opening the lines of connection and communication and seeing this person could be a collaborator, could be a referral source, could be a client, or could be simply a great friend. And that's okay. And if you go into it with that place, not trying to sell, not trying to do any of that, you will get so far beyond where you are now. I promise you. Okay, I'm looking at my notes, making sure I haven't forgotten anything. Oh, the other thing I want to say about this phase is when you talk to people that way, it's essentially client research. In that conversation, you're going to get to find out naturally, just like you would with a friend having coffee. You're going to get to find out, what are they struggling with? What's working for them? What's not working for them? What is it they really want? And these conversations are actually going to help you formulate and figure out what kind of content to put out there, what your message should be, and also how to design your offers, because it's going to let you know what people really want out there, not just what you think they want, but what they actually want. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs who actually skip that step. They just go with what feels right for them, but they don't have the conversation to actually figure out whether or not that's going to sell and whether or not that's going to resonate with people and it's going to be what they want. When you're having these conversations, people are going to give you exactly what words to use to actually put in your content so that when they see it on their feed, they get caught by it. It resonates with them. So it's not that you're going to change your offer, but you're going to know how to position your offer, how to position your content so that you're attracting the right client because they've essentially told you what they want. And last thing is just do your due diligence before you reach out to someone. Go check their feed. Go check their profile. Like if their mom just died, don't write something random. Like honor the fact that that happened and let them know that you saw that and give them a blessing or some love or something for based on based on what's happening. I get comments all the time in my messenger about people trying to sell me weight loss. And I'm like, have you actually seen my picture? Like, have you looked at me in any of my lives? Like, I'm actually trying to put on weight and keep it, not lose it. Like, this tells me that this person has no idea who I am and is just copying and pasting a message. Or people will reach out and, like try to talk about, hey, I have this great group for single women wanting to meet their soulmate. And I'm like, all you have to do is literally click on my picture, and one of the first thing you'll see is that I'm married. So unless this is a swinging thing, or like, it's not going to work for me. So make sure you do your due diligence, because that will totally shut off any kind of relationship you could have with this person. So even if I'm not your like ideal client, I could be a referral source. I could be a collaborator. The moment you do something like that, it lets me know that you haven't taken even 10 seconds to just go and look at what I'm about or what I'm posting, or even like the basic things that are important for your business, and the conversation is done before it's even started. And by the way, in the retreat I'm doing in a few weeks, I'm going to talk especially about point one, how to get new leads in your business, because that's what most people struggle the most. So if that's something that you struggle bringing in more people and knowing how to interact with them, and how to get them to easily raise their hand so they're kind of your ideal client, then put #retreat in the comments and I will put you on the list and send you the detail. I'm looking at comments. Hey Raylan, I'm hoping I say your name. Yeah, weight loss, too funny. I am tiny. I weigh I weigh definitely less than 90 pounds. I'm also 4'10", so I'm not huge in terms of height, but I definitely do not need to lose any weight. On the contrary. Nope, and not a swinger either. At least not yet. That is something I have yet to play around with. Pretty happily married at this point. All right, let's talk about number 3. So number 3 is where most people put all their time and energy. Number 3 is nurture and authority building, and that's your content. So a lot of people are putting a shit ton of energy into that third nurturing, content building authority, all of that. And that's great. Like, that's what you need. You need to have, my coach calls it a footprint, a digital footprint. So what I've seen with a lot of my clients and the people I reach out, and also with my own clients, is when you reach out to someone in a genuine, friendly manner, oftentimes before they even write back to you, they will check your profile. They'll check what you're about. So that's why I tell people, even if you don't want to do a lot of business on your personal profile, you need to have your personal profile optimized. You need to have it in such a way where, under your name, it says what you do. Maybe there's a link to your group if you have a group, and that's where you're doing your work. You need to have, even if most of your stuff is personal, you need to have a little bit of work stuff on there. I have almost all of my work stuff on my personal profile, and my personal profile and my group tend to almost be mirror image of each other. I might do a few more things in the group than I do in the personal profile, but essentially, like, they're almost the same, because most of my clients actually come from my personal profile, not from my group. And So the content is there so that once people know who you are and you're in their realm, they can go and check you out. They know you're for real. You're a real person. You're not some weirdo who or some computer. They know what you're about and what your sacred work is. Um, and if they're into it, then they can start binging and reading, and you'd be surprised how many people within a couple interactions on Messenger will say to me, hey, I just watched, your live you did on alignment, or hey, I just watched your live you did on lead generation, or hey, I just watched your live you did on soul work versus safe work, or whatever it may be, and I'm really resonating with that, or I'm really, this is totally aligned with what I'm about, and this is where I've been struggling, whatever it may be. And then your content is there actually as a way of continuing the conversation and just essentially building that authority with that person and nurturing them so that they're moving through. So when you reach out to someone in number one and number two in the lead generation and in the messenger, you're getting cold people. They're cold, they don't know you. They're cold and they're dubious, meaning they're like, who the hell is this person? When you go into your content and you're really working on your content, you're strategic about your content and you bring them from cold to warm and curious. So cold and dubious to warm and curious. And then hopefully your content, if it's done well, will lead them to being ready for the next step, which could be working with you. Um, so, you know, do not expect your content to do more than nurture already leads that you already have and make them from cold to warm. If you expect your content to bring new clients, you're going to get, and I'm not saying it can't happen, of course it will, but you're going to get really frustrated. You're going to get really frustrated. You're going to get burned out. You're going to keep pulling out and pushing out content and not getting a response and getting disenchanted with it, and then you're not going to continue. You're going to give up too soon. I believe that when it comes to content, because it's not there to just attract people, it's there to nurture people that I have already done the work to attract. And if you want to know how I do that, then sign up for the retreat or put hashtag retreat. But when I believe that when content is done well, it's more about quality than quantity. And I see a lot of people putting out crazy amount of content. Mondays for this, Tuesdays for that, whether it's in their group or like on their personal profile, they're putting out 3-4 things. The truth is, when you put out too much stuff, your content actually dismisses itself because Facebook's not going to show multiple things of yours to the same people. So yes, you want, and the worst part is it's also going to show the same people over and over your content, which then if they're seeing 15 things of you on a regular basis, they're going to get annoyed with you. So you want your content to be more about quality than quantity. And you want to have a process for content. Content is there to build, and you've heard this before, I'm sure, if you're watching this, know, like, trust. So content does 3 things. You want people to have a sense that you know what you're talking about and build authority, build expertise. You want your content to also make you human and get people to like you, which, by the way, I kind of suck at, just FYI, full transparency. I'm really great at expertise. I'm really great at being a teacher, really great at, being a wisdom sharer. I'm not so great at being superhuman and sharing random things, and I'm trying to get better at it. Because interestingly enough, that's often the stuff that gets the most reply, the most response. And I'm sure you've seen that in your own feed, where you post something you've worked on a lot, you get a few things, and then you post some silly picture of yourself at the beach or something like that, or with your kids eating ice cream, and you get a shit ton of response from that. That's the way Facebook is set up. So you want to have your expertise in there, but you also want to have like some regular human stuff, what you're eating, what you're doing, what's working for you in your life, what you're struggling with as a human, not as a business owner. And then you want to build a trust. And the trust sometimes for my clients, for me, comes with maybe sharing some of your wins, sharing some of your clients' wins, so that people know you're actually getting results for people and this is what you're doing for people. Um, so that's a little bit about content, but when I work with clients, I have a 5 steps of content that I take them through. Um, all right, number 4, you have your content, and number 4 in the 5 step is follow through. You need to have a follow through process. So when you're connecting with people in Messenger, you want to keep a list. I used to call it a hit list because that's what my coach calls it, but it was brought to my attention that that was not very nice. So now I call it a love list. Whenever you connect with someone and you have a great interaction, regardless of where it goes, put them on the list. Put them on the list so you remind yourself to go back and say hi. Every few weeks, every 5, 6, 7 weeks, every 4 weeks, say hi. Hey, it's been a while since we connected. How are you doing? I saw this. I saw this in your feed. That seems super interesting. I love that post. Just be in some kind of interaction with them. Follow up, follow through for them with them. Because what happens is your interaction will create a warm lead, and in some ways, it's a little bit like everything else. The degree will drop over time of you not connecting with them. So somebody who's a warm lead, maybe they're even almost getting hot, and then the conversation stops, and you kind of forget. You move on to the next one. Well, their warmth goes down over time, especially if Facebook's not going to show your content to them, which happens quite a bit. Then suddenly it's like after 8, 9 weeks, they have totally forgotten about you. So you want to get in the habit of following up and following through with people in terms of staying top of mind with them, staying in connection with them. And then the number 2 thing that you want to do with follow up is whenever somebody comments, like, yes, it's great to comment back on their comment. And by the way, I'm not always doing that way, but take that as an opportunity to reach out in Messenger. Whether it's just to thank them for their insightful comment, whether it is to strike up a conversation because you've actually not had a conversation with this person, but use your content, and whoever takes the time to actually genuinely say something of value in there, use that as an invitation to connect with them in a non-salesy manner, and then see where it goes. So that's 4. And then 5, that's the last step, is convert. So if you've done step 1 to 4 well, then you essentially are 80% of the way there. Whether the end is having a collaborator, whether the end is having a client, it doesn't really matter, or a referral source, right? Like, the conversion is at that point, this person is going in some way, shape, or form to support you somehow, whether it is to support you by giving you money and working with you, or it is supporting you by being willing to refer people to you or referring people to you, or support you by collaborating with you, being willing to put your freebie on their social media, or to invite you on their podcast, or to do something with you that where you're both going to support each other and growing each other and showing up in each other's lives in a more powerful way. So the conversion process is the last little bit. And again, if you've done these 4 steps well, you're almost all in. Like, it's just a last final tweak. And during that process, that can be done in the DM. I just had a client who closed a sale and she's never actually seen the person. It was all done in the DM. So that can be done in the DM. It can be done DM, direct message, messenger. It can be done by getting on a brief call on Zoom or on the phone. And the process of this conversion piece is to answer any questions they have, to, if they're a client or if you're moving towards a client with them, to clearly show what results and tangible transformation they'll get from working with you, to create a vision and help them see what's possible for them in that conversation, to address any objection that might be there, whether that's they don't have the money, they don't have enough time, what if it doesn't work for them, like all those common objection, and to build urgency and the cost of not moving forward, the cost of inaction. So that's the sales process, right? Like, if you've done any kind of sales training, you've heard about these things, and that's something I teach clients as well. But So you want to address objection, you want to build urgency, and you want to get them to really see the vision of what's possible for them and how you will help them do that. And in that last tiny bit, you also finish building uh, any kind of authority, any kind of trust, so that they can feel confident moving forward with you, whether it's moving forward with you again in sending you a client, collaborating, or becoming a client. And then I'm going to give you a six. This is actually not about client attraction, but the sixth step in this is serve and deliver. And I spend quite a bit of time in that as well, is make sure that when you're selling the whole journey. You're selling a whole process, that you're setting things up in such a way that people are going to work with you for 4 to 6 months minimum, so that they're going to have enough time to really see, and I'm talking to service-based entrepreneurs, like transformation takes time. Anchoring change takes time. If you're working with somebody for a month, yes, you can give them information, you can take them through a transformation, but I bet you that they haven't really had time to take that transformation and anchor it into their lives, use it into their lives. So you want to create a program or a process that essentially makes sure that people have you for long enough to really see tangible, sustainable change and results in their lives. Not just a little bit at the beginning, but the whole transformation. The other aspect of that is bringing in a new client can take a little bit of time. I mean, I just took you through these 5 steps. It can take a little bit of time, it can take a little bit of effort. When you have them working with you, you don't want to be worried about whether they're going to book the next session or they're going to take the next package or whatever. You want to know that you can relax and really just focus on serving them and not selling to them for a long while. It's good for you and it's good for them. So that's my little extra 6th step, is making sure that you serve and deliver something that's going to work for them and for you long term, whether that's in a group or in a one-on-one or in a combo of both. All right, so now let's talk about, I'm going to do a brief recap. So number 1 is have an easy system to generate leads. And a lot of my retreats, the strategy of my retreat is going to be on that, but #retreat if you want to find out about that. Number 2 is have a way of connecting and starting a conversation with these people and starting to build that trust in a very genuine, authentic, friendly, non-salesy way. Number 3 is your content. Nurture and build authority. Once they're in your realm, once they've connected with you, they're going to want to find out about you. They're going to want to see what you're about. And then there's going to be a bunch of content for them that they can look at. Number 4 is follow up. Follow up with them in Messenger if you haven't talked to them in a few weeks, and have a process for keeping track of that. And then follow up with anyone who reaches out to you in your content and make it more intimate. In this day and age, in the way Facebook is right now, intimacy, real, authentic, is what will create clients. Not a whole bunch of content splashed over. It's building connections, building conversations. So for anyone who connects with you, either in Messenger and actually is friendly and receptive, and anyone who connects with you in your content, follow up with them. And then number 5 is that last little piece of conversion. Convert people, once they're ready, once they've gone from cold and dubious to warm and curious to essentially a lot more than warm, hot, ready, and they trust you, then move into a conversation about potentially working together more. That process takes a little while, so make sure that when you have you have an offer to offer them, that offer really is going to honor the whole transformation they need and is going to honor you, and is not just going to be a one-off something. All right, so that's the strategy. Let's talk about energy for a bit. Just make sure. Sharon says, thank you. Excellent list. My pleasure. I love working with Sharon. She's a good friend of mine. We exchange. She helps me with my energy and working through my blocks, because we all have them. And I help her with strategy and mindset stuff. And it's been an amazing friendship and collaboration. Talk about collaboration. Sometimes you find people, and she's been a referral source as well. So here's a great example of a great connection that maybe is not a client, but has been a treasure in my life in so many ways. All right, so let's talk about energy and mindset in our business. So energy and mindset in our business is about healing and watering, and not watering. I'm sorry, it's about healing and not watering any seed within us that is rooted in scarcity, in lack, in doubt, in unworthiness, and shame, while at the same time watering the seeds that are rooted in abundance, in trust, in certainty, in love, in feeling worthy and deserving, in flow and in soulfulness. And by the way, we all have them. We all have them. I've been doing this work. I've been a therapist. I was a therapist for 20 years. I've been doing inner work since I was 15 years old. I'm in my early 40s at this point. So more than half of my life. And I've been doing inner work in myself and with clients. There's always a next layer. There's always something in us, some kind of seed that feels like people don't want us, people are going to reject us, it's not safe to be visible, there's not enough to go around, people won't pay for what, that next level, like whatever it is, there's always some of that. A lot of energy and mindset is literally about not watering that seed, becoming so aware of where your mind is, where your beliefs are at, what's the script in the background, that you can start really moving through those things and replacing them and watering seeds of the things you actually want to create. So I'm going to give you a few of the statements that I have used and that I've given my clients over time to start essentially watering and rewiring our brain for ease, for success, for visibility, for attracting clients. So I'm going to read those because I wrote them down. So here's one. I have everything I need to do amazing work and transform my clients' lives. So if you've got a sense that maybe you're not good enough, you're not ready enough, you need the next certification, you need to learn more, you need to do more, whatever it may be, that's one for you. I have everything I need to do amazing work and transform my clients' lives right now, as I am, with what I've got. I don't need more. I have everything I need. Here's another one. People who need and want my support will pay me well for it, and they're all around me. A lot of folks that I talk to, especially healers, don't believe that people will pay for transformation, don't believe that people will pay for healing work, or don't believe that people have any money right now. And that's a belief that actually, what they say, our beliefs become our reality. That's a belief that becomes a reality. What that will lead you to is everybody you reach out to, everybody you talk to will be broke. Everybody you talk to will not want to work with you, or will have an objection to working with you and not take, investing in themselves seriously. What's interesting, this used to be a major one for me, by the way, and it's still something I work with. But I would see a lot of clients say something to me like, oh my God, what you do is amazing. Like I'm waiting for this or this to get figured out. And then I would love to work with you. And then they'd go and invest and work with someone else. Or they'd go and do something else, which led me to believe they had the money, but for whatever reason, my own mindset was getting in the way of them saying yes to me because they were willing to say yes to someone else. So being able to say to yourself, people who need and want my support are here all around me already, and they will pay well for it, or something along those lines. Here's another one. Massive success and abundance happens all the time and everywhere. And it can happen for me. That last little bit is important because we always think it happens to other people. But part of the changing of mindset is to start seeing it everywhere and being able to say to yourself, shit, if they can do it, so can I. And actually start believing in your own brilliance. start believing in your own gifts, start believing in what it is that you have to offer. And if it's happening here, it's happening there. People have money. They have money for this, they have money for that. People invest in here and invest in there. People do all these different things. I'm going to say this just because a lot of my clients are soulful spiritual entrepreneurs. But, if people didn't invest in transformation, there wouldn't be places like the Shift Network, or people like, I don't know, Tony Robbins or Deepak Chopra would not be the millionaires that they are. People absolutely invest in transformation, and it's happening everywhere. I have clients of mine who are doing it. I have colleagues who are doing it. So being able to tell yourself massive success and abundance happens all the time, and it happens everywhere, and it can also happen for me. This is another one. This is for those of us, I'm going to include myself, who feel bad about charging money because we have a gift. We believe everyone could use it, and we want to be available and able to help as many people as possible. And I think we also believe that people can't afford it, and so we keep our fees low. But this is one that I use. Making money is good for everyone. The more money I make, the more impact I have. Making money is good for everyone. The more money I make, the more impact I have. And that's absolutely true. We want, I like to say, we want light workers, light bearers, change makers to make good money, because they're going to take their money and they're going to do great things in the world with it. These are the people who are going to take their money and they're going to invest in making the world a better place. They're going to figure out how to create a cheaper program or have scholarships. I don't doubt that of you. If you are someone who worries about charging much because you want to serve everyone, you are the exact person who should charge well. Because I know you're going to do amazing things with that money. I know you're going to give it to the right organization and foundations. I know you're going to create ways to help your people that are going to be extremely powerful. So making money is good for everyone. And the more money I make, the more impact I can have. So this is another one. This is for those of you who work hard and you work too much and you're in that thriving, pushing, efforting place, and you have this belief that the way to make money is to work hard. And so this is one I have, is success can be simple, easy, and fun, and always in alignment with my values and my heart. Success can be simple, easy, and fun, and always in alignment with my values and my heart. And I have another one that goes with that. I can make more and have more impact by actually working less. It's a shift of perspective. It's essentially an invitation to have a thought experiment about what that might look like for you. How could you have the impact you want to have? How could you make the money you want to make? And how could you do all of that with more ease, more fun, more free time for yourself? Another one is ordinary people, regular people like me, introverted people, spiritual people, make a great living while staying true to themselves all the time. So I will tell you that I'm an introvert, I'm a sensitive, I'm an extremely spiritual person. I've been meditating since I was 15, and I can make a great living serving other people. And if I can do it, I'm a super shy person. I don't know if shy, I'm quiet, I'm reserved. If I can do it, so can you. For that, I know for sure. And then I'm going to leave you with one more, actually two more. One more is, my way is the right way. I talk a lot about alignment and following our own unique path and following what feels right for us and not automatically following what somebody else tells us to do, because when we do that, essentially it never works. So when you're doing something that doesn't feel good, doesn't feel aligned, doesn't feel in authenticity with your soul and you're not having fun doing it, then it doesn't work. So my way is the right way. When I say yes to my unique aligned way, people say yes to me. And I have seen that to be true over and over and over in my own business and in my clients' business. I'm looking at Sharon. It says, love the watering and rewatering. Yeah, and staying true to ourselves. And then the last one I'm going to say, this is something I mentioned right at the beginning of this live. This is something I say to myself before I go live, before I put out content, when I'm creating content, when I'm afraid in some ways, when I'm nervous. This is something I say to myself. I'm here to serve. I was born for this. Success is inevitable. I'm here to serve. I was born for this. Success is inevitable. And essentially stepping in trust and embodying certainty. These are the two things that have made the most difference for me in my own work and in my own journey towards visibility and reach and growing my business, is embodying trust, knowing that success is inevitable, knowing that I was born for this, I was put on this earth to serve, and having trust and certainty that I can do that and that I'm supported by life in the process of doing that. And life is the energy of the universe, but it's also my clients, it's my friends, it's my family members, it's my collaborators, it's my partner, it's my dogs, it's everything in my life. So embodying trust and certainty, and then keeping it simple. Having a process in place that's going to make it easy. If you don't have these things lined up, if you don't believe in these things about yourself, you will self-sabotage, you will burn yourself out, you will give up too soon before you actually see results start coming back towards you. So for me, in my own journey, it's always about coming out more and more, hiding out less and less. I'm still hiding out. I still realize all sorts of ways that I'm still hiding. It's part of my work. It's part of my journey. It's part of what I teach. I can't teach something I'm not personally involved in and going through myself. And then starting to play bigger and bigger. And playing bigger and bigger is not just about strategy. It's not about action. It's about believing in yourself, believing in your gifts, believing that you are here to serve. You're fucking born for this, and success is inevitable. And stepping into that and then taking action from that place of alignment, from that place of trust, from that place of certainty. And then slowly you take bolder and bolder action and you reach more and more people. And then I mentioned this a little bit, just being aware, right? Being aware, having a process within yourself to really be aware of what thoughts what stories are running in the background, what program is running in the background, and how that's affecting your vibe, how that's affecting your feelings, how that's affecting your energy, and your ability to be anchored in that possibility, in that certainty, and that trust. Because if you don't have that, if you don't have a way of being aware and shifting it, then what's going to happen is even if you have the right strategy, it's not going to work. You're either going to self-sabotage it. Every time you get momentum, you're going to take your foot off the gas. Every time you get an invitation, you have an opportunity, you're going to decide why it's not the right thing for you and not do it. Or you're going to be in conversation with people and something's going to feel flat or feel off for them, and they're not going to move forward with you. So in some ways, strategy is important. You want to have a simple strategic process in place to grow your business that in a way that's sustainable and is going to feel good for you. But energy is more important. Energy is at the very least as important, but I would say it's more important. Because if you don't have that in place, if you're not aware of what seeds of scarcity, of lack, of shame, of guilt, of unworthiness are there, and you're not actively working to not water them and to actually water something else, then you're going to do all the work and you're not going to see results. So that's what I've got for you. What happens when we do this, when we've got the strategy and when we have the energy, we've got the right mindset, then we start seeing proof of that. Like slowly, we start seeing proof of that. We start believing it inside. It starts being real inside. And then we're seeing proof of it in the world. And others at that point start essentially reflecting back what we're believing about ourselves, about our gift, about what is possible for us and our clients. Others start reflecting back to us within that, and we've normalized it. Suddenly, what we feel and know is possible in here and reality start to merge and they collapse. And what you've been working on inwardly, what you've been playing with in your strategy and your processes in your business, suddenly collapse and merge. And you are actually at some point in the reality you've been creating, both with your energy and with your strategy. Sometimes it can take a little bit of time, although that might be a belief I need to let go of, that it takes no time, that it can happen like this, because I've definitely seen people do that. They shift something, they let go of something, and everything opens up for them. That has not been my experience. For me, it's been a slow trickle and slow growth. But, I can see how there was something in me. There's still something in me that says, hey, if it's too much all at once, I won't be able to handle it. If it's too much all at once, I'll get overwhelmed. And so my way is to grow slowly. That might not be your way. You have to define that for yourself. Anyways, last call. I'm reminding you that I've got this retreat, Client Overflow, where I'm going to really take you through some energetic exercise. We're going to shift your vibes. We're going to do some literally energy exercise to attract clients. And I'm also going to take you through the strategy of that first step of lead generation, how to essentially have an ongoing overflow of new leads that you can have and start conversation with, or you can get fully booked and fill your programs or your offers. And if that feels interesting to you, put hashtag retreats. It's free and you've got nothing to lose. It's going to be a great time. And I will talk to you probably next week. Sharon says, good stuff. Thank you. Thank you for being here. She's always a great fan of mine and a great support. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon.